Hi guys, thanks for checking the Watch and Roll channel. If you enjoyed these videos, please consider subscribing. Just remember it's free and you'll be notified for upcoming videos. It's been a while since I purchased the almighty Oceanus Cachalot, which is the first ISO certified divers from Oceanus. In the first video and review, I claimed this watch as a tool was the best analog diver because its incredible technological usability as a diver's watch ahead of any other divers in the industry. Look, just to start with, inside it's a high-end, high-tech, high-speed multi-motor G-Shock live movement. You got one of the most, if not the most reliable movement in any diver's watch. It has a diver's mode where the hands start showing elapsed time from 12 o'clock, taking legibility to a whole new level. You don't even need to count or check the bezel. You don't even need a lume bezel for this reason either. You could place the watch on a table and walk meters and meters away from the watch and you can still read the watch. On top of that, it has great lume, really good sapphire dome crystal with great anti-reflecting coating on the inside. Again, this watch underwater is super legible. On perspective with traditional divers that your limit of timing goes up to 1 hour, you can track 2 hours with this diving mode. While you are on diving mode, you can still read the time on the second subdial. You also have indefinitely total visibility in total darkness because it has a super illuminator. The only analog divers in the world that I've seen with this feature is the Frogman, the G-Shock Frogman, which is a diver's watch, and this Cachalot. It is anti-magnetic, it has a tight mode, has a DLC black polished bezel and a sapphire bezel. Now look at the back of the case, it has 8 special screws to ensure the water resistance. That's just special. Also, one of the only divers along with the new Omega C Master chronograph that has a special system on the buttons, enabling 100% to press them underwater at any depth. It has one of the best materials in the watch industry for divers, which is this titanium carbide that is as hard as Citizen Super Titanium Duratech. Incredibly light, corrosion resistant, with stunning Salis polishing. It has carbon hands that are quite hard to manufacture, but it substantially increases efficiency. Similar to a Grand Seiko Quartz diver that has titanium hands to reduce the weight. Of course, it's solar. It has Bluetooth, the day and the date is perpetual, daylight savings time is automatic. I mean, this watch is completely reliable to the core. If you travel, you simply select the time zone and the hands automatically adjust, making this a superior GMT than any other divers in the industry. For example, if I go to Tokyo, I simply press and hold this button and automatically switches times. You have a subdial where you can check another time zone, and when you use the chronograph function, this lets you track up to 12 hours, and the list goes on and on. So you can track time in many different ways. You have the chronograph, you have the bezel. I mean, this could be the only watch you need. It does more than an analog diver's watch could ever do. And on top of that, it's stunning. You basically wouldn't need anything else as a diver's watch. It's just superior as a diver's tool than anything else we ever seen. So after a while, has my perspective changed? Yes, it has. These are the number of things that I wish could be better on the watch. Number 1, the bezel action. The action is amazing if you press the bezel against the case, but if you don't, it might feel like there's some unpolished surfaces inside that cause a tiny amount of friction. What happens after time is the friction smooths out with use. Of course, this doesn't present any problem for functionality of the watch, but it takes some from the feel and perception of the watch at the beginning. Number 2, you basically don't even need to use the crown, but if you use it, it is not the best crown in the industry. It's not bad by any means, it's totally functional, but I wish they improve it by increasing the size and the grip on the next model. Number 3, the proprietary Durasoft strap that comes with it. It's really nice, incredibly soft, incredibly strong. This was the hardest material to cut in order to size it. I believe it is the best material ever for a rubber strap, but if you have smaller wrists like me, it might have a tiny bit of a limit. It will fit perfectly on 99% of the wrists out there. My wrist is 5.5 inches in circumference, by the way. Number 4, there's no drill lug holes. Number 5, if you decide to switch the strap, like I did that, by the way, I put it on this silicone strap with this Formex carbon composite strap. When removing it, you will notice inside the sections the polishing is regular. It is not bad, but having the stunning Salus polishing on the rest of the case makes this a little noticeable. Number 6, the thickness. Beside its extreme wearability, it is pretty thick, and that can be something. Number 7, and this is very nitpicking here, the water depth. As a brand, I think Casio could easily go with 600 meters, as this watch was made with saturation specs according to Oceanus. The Japanese are very conservative with their water resistance rating. If it's ISO certified, that kinda limits the rating, not because it's not capable of actually doing it. The Frogman, for example, rated at 200 meters, reached over 1000 meters when tested in perfect conditions, yet they stamp a 200 meter rating, and that goes to the whole Japanese diver spectrum. I mean, for example, there is the Citizen Signature, which is a pretty thin and small without an ISO certification, and it was rated to 300 meters. So I wish they would loosen it a bit and they would stamp a little higher depth rating. And last, the bezel is kind of suspended from the case, and it kind of has a little bit of wobble, just a tiny amount of wobble. On the other hand, for example, on the Seiko Marine Master, this is very solid, so probably something to fix on the next model. Is it still the best analog diver's watch there is? Yes, I believe so in an actual diver's tool. This is the most reliable, usable, and most capable tool there is. There is the GPS Citizen ProMaster, which has independent motors and has some things in common with this Cachalot, but I can see how this Cachalot has the upper hand in specs and usability. I do hope very much for Oceanus to get more diverse models, especially thinner and smaller. Usually the first models have defects and they get improved on the next models. So I'm pretty excited for the next version of the Cachalot. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you later.